Hi there. Today I'm going to show you a build, more thorough in-depth explanation. So instead of using Rift this time, I'm going to use Heavy Strike and make Heavy Strike more. Let's do this map first. So, for blue, yellow.
Hold your tongue. I do not wish to hear. Want to test a Kyaxon? Be my guest. Pain's a Kyaxon specialist.
Before I explain.
Hey.
Go. So we take charge first. Not using any plus yet. So let's explain our build. Build isn't, don't use MAGEBLOOD because to comment, I'm gonna do that. So while mapping, I use Headhunter, and when I'm not, I use another build that gives me the best damage boost ever. But I use Runegraft from mapping because it gives me onslaught always. Yep. So first of all, let's talk about passive. So for my passive, for my ascendancy, I went for this inevitable judgment. I'll be critting most of the time. And also I'm using Fire's Path for more regen. I can respect it to this, but I find that I probably want more survivability in some ways, I guess. So, right, the most important thing when it comes to my build would be this Corrupted Soul, Glorious Vanity. And then there are very few important jewels that gives me a lot of DPS. First is my Forbidden Flesh flame, whereby we get this Unwavering Crusade. And what does Unwavering Crusade do is it gives me Elemental Relic, which can give me 3 auras, Vanguard, Wrath, and Unset. This is a very huge DPS from my build. And the next thing that I went for Watcher's Eyes is I went for Vitality and Stain and gain on it, which I find that it's important for my survivability. Yep. And I went for few jewels, cluster jewels, 2 of them, elemental damage, but that is widespread destruction, which is not really a must to have, but I just want some more resist, so I go for this. And some I draw, I went for more reduced curse effect. And in my Pantheon, I also went for this, so I get about 100% reduced effect of curses. So I don't worry about curses for mapping most of the time. And I go for this avoid frozen and reduce chill and avoid stun. I went for rational doctrine. It can be very heavy. It's not a must to have this. It just gives me more critical, more physical. Yep. And then this cluster draw is actually quite important, where I get my life leech and my mana leech from, especially on Feed the Fury and Fuel the Fight. These two is the most important. And having another one, Martial Powers, is one of the better cluster notables to use. And then over here, I got a small cluster jewel to have my Chaos Resist up there. And also another Megalomaniac for some, especially Enduring Composure, so that I have Endurance Charge. Endurance Charges and some Reservation Skill, Grace, and Go to Fight in this Megalomaniac. Yeah. And mostly it's this. Right, the reason why I chose to play with a sword is actually because I did a wallet and I chose Wraith as my choice of skill. So I decided to go one hand, and this is my one hand notes that I went for. Right, initially I was using Onigoroshi. I have 2 of them. After that, I use it actually before I convert myself to a one hand sword with a shield. So I'm actually handling my regen quite well because of Fire's Path and for the soul. Then my build at the start of Unigoroshi, and then when I have enough money, I start upgrading. I got I used a sword first initially, not so nice sword. I think not sure which sword I use. I use 50 sword that gives me about 29 DPS. Then when I change to this sword, this boosts to 60M with Rift. And then when I change to Heavy Strike, it can hit up to 100M now, considering the Flask change and my new belt for bossing specifically. So in this build, I'm gonna share with you the choices of my items. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is my items. First of all, this sword I crafted. So how do I craft it is I use alteration. I name one of the elemental damage attack and either of the critical strikes. And then I wriggle it and spend an exalt. I got all the socketed gem skills over there. So after that I craft physical damage on it and then I'll throw in another exalt to get the one melee skill gem. Not the best, but with all the socketed gems thing, I boost my damage from 20, close to 30M to 60M DPM for Rift, and for Heavy Strike, it's probably far more. So in this build, I use some specific units. As you can see, I'm using the Squire, and that's why you can see a lot of support skill gems that I'm using. So to support my skill gems that much, I decided to not focus fully on damage, but more on utility. So the first thing is Heavy Strike. I'm linking it up with 45, because I find that 5 skill points in the skill tree is over here might not be as good. There's like 5 points as something else more important. Awakening added lightning. Now this is one of the better skills to have, even though I'm not using a lightning skill, because of the huge range from lightning damage. And the reason why is because I went for volatility support. Volatility support. Volatility support. And the reason why I go for that is because of a mercenary wearing this Togo amulet, where my damage is lucky. So it makes volatility and lightning damage far more benefit far more from the lucky damage. And then I use energy leech support because I want to maintain my regeneration. And inspiration support because of so many supports. Without it, it's at 43 mana. And if I use it for another support like close combat or whatsoever, it will be really insane. Of course, the damage will be very nice, but I prefer utility in that case, so I reduce the mana cost. As you can see, the next unit that I'm using would be this Marylene's Fallacy, and of course the harsh punishment of using critical strike. So critical strike drops far more. However, I'm hitting 53% with all my other criticals stack, stacking a critical whatever thing boosts far more. Yeah, in POE I'm hitting max critical strike. Next, the unit that I use for my goods would be the cash invasions, whereby I'm using frenzy charges just for damage. For the black, I probably can use another better boots, but I'm just sticking for this for now. I have one max endurance charges there. So, and then specifically this belt, 800 for mastering, is for bossing. And this Coiling Whisper, which is so eater, very important for the build to be quick. Not really a must, but having this, as you can see how I fly on the maps and whatever, it's insane, a very insane item to use. And probably this gonna be either nerf or it's going to be very difficult to hunt for this item. Definitely in the next patch. Right, so let's talk about what kind of curse I use to enable this ring. As you can see, when I mocked earlier, I was bring into packs and then I didn't kill them, I just moved to another pack. And why is it so? It's because I want my curse to expire before I kill them off. So to do that, I use this specific setup. First of all, I use Force Blink and Lip Slam as my trigger skills to hit, to apply Tempora Change. Tempora Change is linked together with Hex Match, less duration, and with this setup, as you can see over here, without Swift of Manipulation, I'm able to hit 1.02 seconds, which means that calculating I need to not kill after landing a hit on them if I Lip Slam or Frost Blink 0.9 seconds. So with Swift of Manipulation, I'm able to curse the curse duration now 0.77 seconds. So after hitting it, I need about close to 0.7 seconds for it to for the soul eater to enable the effect. So you can do it on 4-link, Hex Touch, Chain, less duration, and another hitting skill is sufficient, but I went for this two to trigger it better, and Swift Deflection to make the duration shorter. Next, two choices would be more defensive because I have a mercenary. So the rest are all just rare items for capping my attributes and resist. And for the body chest especially, you want to have that attacks have critical strike chance so that you can crit reliably. And for this, you want to use a rare glove for that one additional nearby target. Initially I use this for Grief. You can see that I have maximum frenzy charge and attacks have increased critical plus critical strike chance. And you can see the mod that gives me a lot of damage since I use endurance charge and frenzy charge as well. My setup for my reservation would be like that. It's clean. I do automate with Blood Rage because sometimes in boss fight I don't really press Blood Rage most of the time, so I just let it automate, which is really QOL. I use Tempest Shield to have shock immunity. Freeze immunity would be this. I don't have Ignite immunity, so I just deal with it. Okay, and on my left reservation, I went for Flesh and Stone, Arrogance, and Precision. Now I use Assassin Mark not as often, but when I do, it's usually when I have Soul Eater. So I just use it for extra damage. And then I use Grace. I use Blade of Uncertainty and Power Charge on crit to give me the extra crit damage, critical strike from power charges. And I use it to also proc more hits so that I can get more life and ammunition from my Watcher's Eye. And lastly, Immortal Core is my gut skill. As you can see, I placed it over here. I use it when I really need it. Other than that, I shouldn't have much problem with. Now my first choices would be Cinderswallow, so that enemies impacted by me doing effect takes in extra damage, and I will, because as you can see I have some fire damage involved, and that helps me ignite whenever I crit. Yep, and then there was malediction. Malediction takes 10 increased damage taken, which is F. Okay, and also my summon elemental relic. My Unwavering Crusade gives me that anger, hatred, and rare aura. It gives me more elemental damage as well. Next, I use Rock Guard to map, and because I have frenzy charges from my Blood Reach, it makes my mapping feels more comfortable. Not very clunky to have it. This is whenever I fight with bossing. So as you can see from my Cinderswallow, I use reduced charges. So in boss fight, I can use up to 3 times without worrying my charges. If not, I can use it for 2 times and you can't charge anyone, so whatever. For this Portal Faith, I have 16 maximum charges and this allows me to use 3 times. Reduce charges doesn't really make you use 3 times because your consumption rate is 40. And how you reduce it, you can reduce less than 20. So I went for... Okay, and then I use Magic Plus for this Diamond Plus. More critical strike chance. Yep, I can use it twice only, so it doesn't matter if I get hit, I can use it more reliably. And the last one would be Tincture. Initially I was using this belt. Okay, give me Micro Distillery Belt because I cannot use Flask in the first slot, but you have to use Tincture. That was the initial plan. So this one has more survivability, it's more life, more return, more rest, and I can use Tincture. Well, this I can't use, you can see it's red here, but I can use the tincture. So if you're using one tincture, it's good to use. Now this tincture is really good with this mana leech. Okay. And if your mana consumption isn't that high, you can really use it reliably. Probably up to 20 hits before tincture deactivates, which is good enough. So yep, it's quite nice to have, but I no longer use this rare belt because Headhunter gives you. Actually, I don't even need to use Headhunter. Actually, I'm just using it for the meme. It's my first Headhunter that I play with. Yeah, using rare belt fine as well. And when I'm bossing just now, you can see I use Metal Winter. Gives me more damage for sure. Yep. Even if I use this, damage should be far greater because of the 30% plus effect. Increase plus effect. Yep. So why I don't like Rift is because, whenever you start a new fight or enter a new map, your range for Rift is very short. And to build up to that much, it might be a bit unreliable, which I dislike. Anyway, Heavy Strike do far more damage, and with this setup, I can reach up to 110 I believe now because I upgraded this helmet to this nearby enemies take 6% increased elemental damage. So for now, I believe if I use this setup, let me change to let me go through my mercenary. So it has vitality and determination aura, and then rest everything as much as I can. I will try to use determination aura effect. Okay, this gives me slightly more damage, but I think I can change the ring to something else that can help me have a better damage. Not so important for now. This toe is very important. Using this as communicate enemies on melee hit, which prevents my enemy from dealing chaos damage. So I don't have to worry that much because my life pool is really low and most probably die from the damage of attack. So as you can see, this nearby takes in more elemental damage. I'm doing elemental damage always because of 100% of physical damage converted to a random element, which means I don't have to use Rift of Reflection at all. Power Rift for more AoE, but I don't like it, so I change it to Strike. More chance to Ignite. Okay, I'm not sure whether I will change it soon, but I was hoping to get something else so that I can use my build better. Alright, let's move on to my POB. Let's go POB. Yeah, So configuration. Why am I not doing that? Okay. So over here, of course, I'm not using temperature in boss battle because by then it expires, and then I use this mark. It didn't enable this for sub-winter, so as you can see, it 110 DPS. Very high, I think. Nice. So nearby has malediction. Somehow, this doesn't really give you that malediction. Even if I can this, change it to that. Malediction doesn't really and damage of hit is like this one is the huge damage boost. Hopefully I can do more stuff with it. This is at best condition. And also this one, somehow it doesn't register my Blade Storm. Because even it doesn't affect my Blade Storm DPS. Because over here I'm using Blade Storm of Uncertainty. And what does it do is sometimes it will release Sense Stance or sometimes Blood Dance. So as you can see, the mod over there gives me 13% more attack speed in Blood Storm. Fortunately, that doesn't register. So occasionally when you see me boss, I would just raise some Blade-Storm to proc power charges, as well as to get more life hit or energy shielding. Yes, it's working my build somehow. Yep. I really enjoy this league, and I've said the dopamine from the drops and whatever. I'm probably gonna do, and this is the most important one, to have Wellspring of Creation, because it helps you surviving much better. Having almost 100 M DPS, I can sacrifice a bit of damage for it. No worries. But now, in terms of my content, I'm doing one more. The Feared that I haven't really do yet. I never do much of the Eagle because I'm still low. Enjoy farming instead. For Harvest, so I'm doing Harvest. And killing boss so that I can get more soul eater and I can do more stuff. Yeah, I will slowly do that and I will talk more things on the way. Right, hope you like the video. Thank you. Good night. Bye.